as the man sleeps with the breeze. Nothing will ever bring him to his knees. Cold are the nights, long are the days, but no one can ever take love away. And he kept a lock and key on it forever, and he took it out to make sure it was dead. And he held it in his hand, held it in his hand, and he waited for the dawn for some relief.
What was that? Was that you? Probably just Dad.
I heard screaming coming from I don't know where in the house, and I don't know who was screaming.
To celebrate the spookiest day of the year, the Discovery Channel is running a marathon of one of its most popular series, A Haunting.
On the show, real-life ghost stories are brought frighteningly alive, and believe me, I've been around the world many times.
You've been around the world many times.
Right, with my brother Craig. And these stories scare the heck out of me.
Or dastardly.
When a family looking for stability invests their hopes in an old house, restless spirits prey on their fears, tormenting them until they leave. But when another family moves in, the dead become angry and will stop at nothing until the house is theirs. Between the world we see and the things we fear, there are doors. When they are opened, nightmares become reality.
With us today is LaChance and his 16-year-old son, Elliot.
So you were renting the house?
We were renting the house.
And you had 3 kids.
Right.
And you were a lot younger then, about 11 years old.
Yeah, he was about 11.
So how many days did you actually stay in this freaky house?
Well, it took 13 days to actually chase us from the home.
Appropriately.
Appropriately, yeah.
Where was this home?
Union, Missouri, a small town about 50 miles southwest of St. Louis. European settlers helped establish the place more than 180 years ago. For most, their souls have moved on. But for others, the memory of a tragic past fuels their anger, compelling them to hound the living.
These people are okay. They're not going to harm you. You can talk to them.
Is the girl, flames in her hair, keep her past mirth and despair. Cold winter day, warm summer night, no one will ever bring back to life. And he kept a lock and key on it forever.
The first time I saw the house, Dad decided we're going to move into a house from a little apartment. So when we go and pull up to the house, and I'm looking at the house like, wow, this is a huge house. I'm all excited, ecstatic. So we go inside. Dad goes, go ahead and pick your rooms. My sister upstairs, and we decided which one's hers and which one's mine. And all that. And then Dad said once we move in the house, he'd stay home more because he's been traveling with his job. He's always gone with that. He'd be gone for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, then come back for a week, and that's not. And then he'd probably stay home more. so excited. I was ecstatic about the house for the first time. And then little stuff started happening after we moved in. Like I'd start hearing noises. In the middle of the night, I'd hear something walk down the hall or something, but I'd ignore it. At first, I'd ignore it. But then it started getting me. And every little night after work for about a week, it started getting me more. And then that weekend that we moved in, Dad would be we were all outside like doing yard work. Outside doing the yard work, and Dad asked me to go inside and grab the garden hose.
Stupid hose. It's all wet. Jesus, dude.
I started walking back up the steps, and I heard something behind me, so I turned around and looked, but nothing was there. So I started, slowly going faster up the steps. When I started doing that, I heard something behind me. The steps started shaking. I got this real bad feeling in my stomach, so I took off running, screaming, yelling. But when I got outside, Dad's like, "What's going on? What's going on? Why are you screaming?" I was like, "Something chased me up the steps." Dad's like, "No, it didn't. It's just the basement monster. It's okay. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine." Well, after the whole basement incident, I started noticing more things happening. Like, I'd have a box of toys sit in my room that I haven't unpacked yet. That would move. I'd be sitting by the front door to the room, and up over by the closet the next day, and nobody's touched it. And then, I don't know, at night, I couldn't sleep that well. So I'd wake up and be hearing stuff. I'd feel something like somebody standing over me watching me, so I'd wake up and look around, nobody there. I got scared, so I could go back to sleep. And then, progressively more and more and more like that stuff started happening. Like more noises and more that feeling somebody's watching you all the time. Not all the time. Well, one night we're all sitting around in my dad's room watching TV. And I needed to go to the bathroom. Well, I asked my brother and sister, "Hey, will you go with me?" I was a little kid, I was scared. And no, they started making fun of me, no. And Dad just like, "Go on, there's nothing gonna get you, you'll be fine." I was like, alright. So, I was like, alright, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be a tough guy. So I walked to the bathroom, and once I got to the bathroom, there's a staircase that led to the upstairs directly down to the bathroom. I hear something, so I look up the steps. When I look up the steps, I see this smoky, foggy, at first it was like that. I was like, I'm all freaking out already. Well, it starts to come down the steps at me, and it forms a face of a clown, I guess that's what it was. And, had curly red hair, big nose, this demonic smile with it. It had no eyes though. I was thinking about it, it had no eyes. It started coming down the steps after me. Well, I freak out. I take off running, screaming and yelling, and Dad's all, "Hey, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on?" And I was like, this thing came down the steps at me. Well, I think he started to believe me after that, and once I was freaking out. And now I know he did, because he told me. Because I was so scared, I was so scared. I didn't want to be in the house no more, ever, after that. Well, Dad's like, it'll be okay, it'll be okay, it'll be okay, it'll be okay. I was like,
I was never that scared in my life. day, for example, I walked in the house and Steve was sitting on the couch, and I sat down on the couch, and it was like, I don't know, herd of elephants or something upstairs, running back and forth, and then I heard a scream. It sounded like a little girl. And then I went upstairs and looked all through there because I couldn't explain what was up there. I never found anything. Yeah. Did he tell you about the people when he was moving in, stopping and saying,
Hope you get along well.
yeah, said, hope you get along there. Yeah. Yeah, I was standing right there when he stopped, yeah. Well, that's another thing I seen. I was with him when he turned all the lights out. And then I brought him back over there when all the lights were on.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Maybe that's,
I did know that. I mean, I did see that. I went to pick up Steve's mail after he moved. And a lady came to the door, and I asked her if his mail, and she was some mail, and she gave me some mail. And I said, you had any trouble here? And she said, yeah, what do you mean? And I said, well, my son lived here, and there was a lot of things going on in this house. And she said, that's strange you would say that. She said, the other night I was sitting in here, and all the lights, it seemed like all lights from outside just lit up the whole living room. And I run outside to see what was happening, see if there's cars shining lights. There was nothing there. But the whole living room just lit up.
Well, I remember pulling up to the house, and there wasn't anybody there yet from the group, and I just sat there in the car, and it was very oppressive, I could say. You got a very eerie feeling around the home, just even being in my car across the street from it. And personal experience with myself, physical things started to happen. You would get pushed. Somebody would try and push you down the stairs with that smell around you. I was out. In fact, my daughter was with me at one time, and I think it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. There were people in the house and on one side of the yard, and my daughter and I had come to the other side. We went outside to try and see if we could get some EVPs. And the big tree that's on the side of the yard, it was just, it's not something that lasted very long. Maybe 5-6 seconds, which seemed like, forever. Excuse me. And in looking at the tree, all I saw was this baby that was hung by its foot, and there was a part of a blanket around it, and there was blood all over it. Now, and this is just what I saw, and it just swinging in the tree. And at that time, I turned around, I grabbed my daughter, and I said, we're going back inside. And I have never told my daughter about that. And that house caused a group of people to absolutely deteriorate within 6 months. I mean, each individual person would go, they went their separate ways, and they had their home life, and things would go home with them. People were having, all of a sudden, horrible marital problems, horrible personal problems, just mental issues. They just turned into not nice people. And for some reason, everybody turned against each other in this group that we had. And we were all such good friends, in a matter of weeks, it was gone. everybody was hating everybody and personally attacking everyone. I've never experienced anything like that in a group of friends before. And this house has this effect on people. It's depressing, it's oppressive, and I think that's how it works. That's what it wants to do. It wants to just suck the life right out of you. Yeah, it just destroys anything good that you have. You know, through different investigations, the different smells, the being pushed, the you know, Linda being bitten, and the things like that. It's I don't know, I'm kind of creeped out at the moment.
Is it just telling the story is very difficult?
Yeah, it just brings back things that I haven't thought about in a long time that I didn't really want to think about anymore.
At one point in this ongoing investigation of this house, my daughter, who just found out she was pregnant, I did not know at this point about any babies in this house at all. I did not know that there was a baby that was seen hanging from a tree out front. I didn't know about a lot of sacrifices that were made on this property in the past. And one day I was at home, and it was the night before my daughter had to go to see a doctor for her baby. So we were all very happy about this. And I had a dream about standing outside of the Union House. And there was a lot of people standing outside the Union House with me in this dream. And they were just standing there. And I was kind of looking around and just thinking it was another investigation. And then something caught my eye, and it was a very wicked looking clown. And he was holding a baby in his hands, and he started to beat this baby. And I was screaming at this clown to drop this baby. I was yelling at these people who seemed to be in a trance. And I was screaming at the top of my lungs. And then at that point, I looked over at this clown, and he began beating this baby on the ground. Well, at that point, I woke up. I don't know if I woke up or if my husband woke me up, because he said I was screaming that's what woke him up. And I was screaming at the top of my lungs in my sleep. A few hours later, we took my daughter to the doctor. And that is when we found out that her baby was not living. I couldn't even tell nobody for probably half the day I sat, and the only thing I could think about was what was in that house. And I knew that it finally, it got to me in a way that it knew would hurt me. Now this not only happened to me, this happened to a couple other people. So I know that this thing feeds on lives of people that enter this house.
And he kept a lock and key on it forever, and he took it out to make sure it was dead, and he held it in his hand, held it in his hand, and he waited for the dawn for some relief.